Today, we're going to be talking about how to find the one and how to be happy while you're single.
That is right, baby. Welcome back to your Cup of Tea podcast. I am your host, Josh.
And I am your co-host, Katie Betts. Oh my God, I almost was a Katie
Catherine.
Betsy. I don't even know.
Are you serious?
Katie
she
Bruckner.
almost
Katie
said
Bruckner.
her maiden name. How dare you? 2 year, well, not 2 years, 1 year married and you're already messing up. And we're talking about how to be happy single today.
Yikes.
And that's what you're going to go into?
Yikes.
You're going to call yourself your old name?
Okay. Anyway, guys, we really wanted to touch on this topic just because we know there's a lot of people who are single that watch us. And then we also
I'll tell you the real reason why. Because people are asking for it. This is what they want. We ask on our Instagram. Follow us on our socials if you don't already, either at Your Cup of Tea podcast or Cup of Tea podcast. You'll figure it out.
Oh, yeah. And we'll give you guys a whole bunch of
for
snippets of the podcast and stuff. And you guys will be the first to know everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to be first to know. Guys, I just want to say how excited we are to get this podcast rolling. But first, I have to say thank you so much because the podcast fam is absolutely crushing it. We got an email the other day that we are the #1 podcast in entertainment in Jamaica, Costa Rica, Bulgaria. Hold on, we're going to keep going. Canada, Chile, Guatemala, and the United States. What the hell? Dude. Now, there's a very good possibility that that's a spam email, but we are out here being the #1 couple podcast. We have tea to spill today.
We need a cheer button that we can just click. And someone said we need a spilling tea button, like a sizzle. Like a sizzle button.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna upgrade the podcast game. We have an intro made, but we just don't know how to put it on the videos yet. So we're learning. As we said in the first podcast, we're just learning.
So maybe we're the #2.
But this is episode 4, and we're doing so well, and it's all thanks to you guys. So we appreciate you. If you haven't seen episode 3, we talk about the rudest influencers we've ever met.
Which we've met some very rude ones, but it was. I feel like we spilled a lot of tea.
That was spicy.
I saw all the comments and everyone was like, you guys are being like so real and honest. They're like, they didn't hold back at all. I'm like, no, it's your couple of tea, like your cup of tea. How could we hold back? You know?
Yeah, honestly, what did we get ourselves into? Today we're diving into, I'm excited.
So what should we start with? Should we start with being single or should we start with how to find the one?
I think we should start with, let's dive back. How to be happy when you're single.
Coming from two married
people. How to be happy when you're single. So
but you know what? We actually were single for a long time.
And what you're telling me is you were happy when you're single. Now, were you happier single than you are married now? And careful how you answer that because I will quit on the spot.
You will cry. I definitely think that I was happier. I'm happier now, but I was very happy single.
No one likes a but. No, just like let's forget the but.
I was happy single too, and let me tell you why. I'll go why. Because I honestly feel like I became the best version of myself and I really learned who I was when I was single. And that's why I feel like I was just happy. You know, like I feel like if you're not happy single, then you're not going to be happy finding the one, or you might not get in the right relationship for you. And that's why I think it is so important to be happy while being single. And that's why we want to talk about that, because I really think that plays into the next part of being in a relationship or finding the right person.
Yeah, and I think finding out how to be your truest form of happiness is just, it's going to help you along the ways with anything in life. Yeah. Business, school, relationships, friendships, like family, literally everything. So I think this is a huge topic to touch on, and thank you guys for requesting it. I mean, we're so stoked about it.
With that being said,
go crazy.
How were you happy when you were single? Like, what did you do to reach that happiness?
Well, I think it just depends on the person. But for me personally, being my peak happiness was figuring out what I love to do, you know, and that took time. And as you get older, maybe you'll find new things you love to do. But that would be my first piece of advice is try everything. Like figure out what it is you love to do, you know, especially if some of you are listening are younger or even if you're older. I mean, shoot, I know people that are like 45 and like, wow, I just realized like I love doing this. Like there's always new things you're going to figure out about yourself, and knowing the most about yourself is how to succeed in anything and be the most happy you can be.
100% agree with that. And I think when you're single, you have so much more time than when you're in a relationship, because you're giving your time to someone else. So it's like when you are single, it's that time to be like selfish with your time.
That's why the single years that's where you thrive.
It is. And that's where you really
grow.
It's where you find out like your values, what you like to do. And the only way to find out what you like to do is trying new things, saying yes to things, opportunities, trying different jobs, trying different sports.
Give me an example of like something new you tried when you were single. Like, let's stay on that topic.
Okay.
What was something when you were single, you're like, F it, I'm going to try it?
'Cause
I got a good one.
What? For that
Wait,
I did?
I asked you first. No. I didn't know you.
I feel like I did a lot of different things, but a lot of it was like things that my friends would invite me to. And honestly, one of them was trying boxing. I loved working out.
Okay.
And I tried going to the gym, and I knew I loved going to the gym.
And you met the love of your life there.
Someone was like, "Oh, like, do you want to try boxing?" And like, I didn't know how to box, and like, it kind of intimidated me. But you know what? I was like, yeah, I'll try something new. And that's what led me to meeting you. If I would have been scared and not tried new things, then I wouldn't even met you. So I think it's really important to do that. Not so just that you'll meet the one, but so you can find out. And I learned I loved boxing. Like, I was like, it's so fun. Like,
Katie B has hands too. Do not cross her on the streets.
These influencer boxers.
Yeah, stop.
They might not want the smoke from Joshy B because he's too good, but maybe they'll fight his wife.
Yeah, I think my wife could probably beat 99% of them. But yeah, and Katie actually touched on a topic that we're gonna get into later on finding the one. And, and this all kind of ties in together. But okay, for me personally, my own experience of trying something new, and it sounds weird to say now because obviously I'm so involved with it, but it was skydiving. So
okay. I was like, I'm so curious what you're gonna say.
Recently, like out of my past relationship, like my friends, we took a boys trip to Florida, and my boy Leo was like, yo, while we're there, like, F it, let's all go skydiving. And some people were about it, some people weren't. Like, obviously I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it, that'll be sick. And then behind closed doors, I was like, oh my gosh, that's like so scary. Like, I can't sleep at night. And I tried it, and I found out like I fell in love with it. And then like, obviously if you guys follow us on the YouTube journey, you know, your boy skydives like every single week.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge part of my life now. So it's so cool because I would never would have known. And that fulfills like a huge part of my life. And it fuels me. It gives me energy. It makes me happy. It's taught me a lot about myself as well on the process of learning to do it, building confidence, getting over that fear. So that's just one of those random things where it's like, I never would have known. I never would have even thought that, but going out of my comfort zone and doing
and trying something new. And honestly, like, being happy when you're single is all about like trying new things and just like, I don't know, just figuring out what you like to do. And I think another really important thing is like trying to figure out what your values are. Like, what do you believe in personally? Not what your parents taught you to believe in, not what your friends believe in.
Yikes.
What do you believe in? And you really have to, I feel like when you are single and you're going through that like young phase in your life, once you're out of like high school and you're in between like
you're not in high school, like still like your clique or your group of friends says this, so you believe it. It's like, no, like, what are your core values, you know? Yeah. And core values are huge, like in a person, just in general. It's like,
and the reason it's so important to figure out what that is because that's going to play a huge part into the partner that you want to spend forever with or like date, because like that plays a huge role into it.
Okay, so give me some examples of like core values for the people listening out there. Like, maybe they're a little confused.
So for me, my core values of something that I figured out was when I was single is I dove into like my religion, and which is Christianity. And I got super involved in my church, and I realized that this is something that I believe in. This is something that my parents showed me to, but it's not something that I believe in just because my parents believe in.
Yeah, and it wasn't something, it's not forced upon you. Yeah. Like, you kind of seek that out like in your single years to like go on and dive deeper into it and meet people, and you made relationships there.
When I was at that age, I was like, okay, like I understand like what this religion is saying. I see what other religions are saying. And I'm like, I know people who don't even believe in a religion. I'm like, well, what do I believe in? Like, what makes the most sense to me? And I really encourage everyone to do that and try and figure that out, because I feel like that gives you a big sense of purpose.
No matter what religion you are either. Like, I mean, dive into whatever it is you believe in or you're curious about. And again, that just
I feel like
what we're talking about.
Like, that helped me shape into the person I was. And then it also helped me give like vision into who I wanted to marry, which I think led me to the perfect person. And not to mention, I genuinely believe that Josh was a gift from God, because I literally wrote prayer journals, like wrote them out descriptive of like someone that like an ideal guy. And it was literally Josh.
It's actually kind of
like, it's like
how pinpoint it is. I'm like, wow. Like, obviously we share that same core value, and that's Christianity is something I believe in as well. But like that right there, and just some other things that have happened in our life, it's like, so it's scary almost. I'm like, wow. Like that is so exact. Like
it's like or so many things have happened in my life, I guess, where I just can't be like, oh, it's just coincidence, because it literally could not just be coincidence. And it's like, it has to be from God. And I feel like that just really helped me in who I was when I realized when I was single. And I also think another thing that really is important is like, not necessarily like, you don't have to get so political, because I definitely feel like we're not like crazy political people or like outspoken with politics or stuff.
Dude,
but
I think political topic can get so like misconstrued, or like, I don't think you need, honestly, it depends who you are and how you are. I don't think you have to have the exact same political views.
No. You have to have the core views though. Like if you are so passionate about one thing and then you can't stand the other side, it makes it like hard if someone else is very passionate about the other side. That's where it runs into issues. I don't think that you have to be on the same like necessarily political party, or like, because I don't even think you even have to be on like a certain,
the thing about like political parties and all that is just, it's supposed to just be a conversation.
Yeah, it's never supposed to be like, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah, like I feel like nowadays with social media and stuff, they're almost like pinning people against each other.
Yeah.
And I could very well see like how a couple could maybe have a different view on a certain situation, or maybe like kind of sway back and forth.
But to me,
I think that would be like totally fine. But like, I think what it's been painted out like now, it's like, it's like right or wrong, or like you believe this and you can't believe any of the other stuff. It's like that's one thing I think that gets weird with
what
politics.
I think is more important than politics to me is the religion. And if you're not religious, I still think it's how you treat people, because I don't really think it's like, I honestly think you should love everyone, even if they have a completely different opinion than you, or if, you know, and that's just like my opinion. But like what I'm trying to say is that I think it's that time to really dive in and figure out what you believe in, you know? And I feel like politics sometimes do have things of what people believe in, and it will in your future life. So that's like something I think you should, I don't know. I think it's very important for everyone to vote, everyone to have their own opinion.
Okay. So we already got politics and religion. We're on two controversial topics.
I know.
Any other core
I get so scared talking about
values you think of?
Well, yes, but I get what I was going to say is I get so scared talking about like anything political, because like, even if you don't say anything political, people just like run with things.
I don't care. Anything. I don't really care anymore. I mean, we keep our opinions and stuff to ourselves for the most part when it comes to that, but I don't care. Like people are going to say whatever, they're going to hate regardless. It's like, you know, that's the whole point of political parties, is for the debate. Like there's debate classes in school. Like it shouldn't be a like, oh, this person thinks that, I hate them, they're a terrible person. And that's the one thing I think that got weird with social media, is kind of pin people against each other.
People always ask us to like, what's your political this?
Because they want
like, I'm like, it's not in my place. I was like, we are entertainers. And to me, I'm like, I value entertaining people, and I also value like treating people right and giving people life experiences. It's not really my position, or it's not my desire to want to talk about that.
Even what we do, you know?
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
I feel like it's kind of random when people like bring up that conversation. Also, guys, I do want to say, if you see me, if you're watching this on YouTube and I'm looking down, it's because my computer is down. We filmed an hour podcast the other day, and it was a banger. And it had zero audio. So now I'm like triple checking and making sure. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to give it a 5-star review. Let's go. All right. Anything else to touch on with the core values?
I think that's it. Like a core value for me though was also like my family and my friends. So it's like I value that. So that's part of my core values. And I think it's like that's important, because when it comes to dating, like what if they don't really value family at all, like family time, like, you know, and that's going to affect something. So I think it's good to know for yourself.
So let's say like you find your core values and stuff, like, okay, but that's awesome. I think that's great. That's like step one right there in my opinion. But like, how do you find like that happiness, you know, like being single? Because that's what the real topic is on.
I have the best answer for this. You can't find happiness. It's a mindset. It literally is a mindset. It's perspective. And that's something I feel like I've learned as I got older, is like everything is situational, and it's like how you look at things.
I've literally met people that have nothing and are happy. I've met people that have nothing and are sad. I've met people that have everything and are happy. And I've met people that have everything and are sad. So literally what you just said, I'm pretty sure it's a mindset.
Have you ever heard the saying, this happened for me, not this happened to me?
That's exactly.
And that's literally what it is. It's like something bad can happen in your life, And obviously there's certain situations where it's like, yeah, it just sucks and it's bad and it's like you got to work through it. But there's things where it's like some things, let's say you don't get the job that you wanted, right? Instead of being like, I'll never get a job, like my life sucks, like I'm so sad, just be like, you know what? Maybe that was meant to be. Maybe that job would have brought me something
wasn't the one.
Maybe it wasn't in my plan, you know, like maybe I have something better for my future, or maybe something better is going to come of this. I always like to think something good will come of this. And I just feel like that gets me so much further in life, because when you choose to be happy on situations, you just make your life easier. Like literally, you can either choose happiness or choose to be upset about things, choose to be negative or choose to be positive. And that's why I say it is a choice, because like, and I think once you start to force yourself to just choose those positive mindsets, you become a more positive person and you just genuinely are happier. You know, if someone was rude to Josh, and I honestly think Josh is the perfect, like, I don't know, like, situation for this, because there's so many times where like, let's say someone was like rude to us, and I'm more so like the type of person to be like, that was so rude. And Josh is always the type of person who's like, well, maybe they didn't mean it like that. And he's giving a positive outlook. And then it's like, we walk away from the situation. I would have been like, okay, that was so rude. Like they're mean, and be upset. And he would just walk away, be like, oh, like nothing of it, you know, like maybe they didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I try to think the best of people. Like that's always my intention, and I think you do too. But
yeah,
and you can get burned that way as well. I'm not saying that's the answer to everything.
We've definitely been burned.
Quite a few times. But that's okay. Like you just said, you know, I saw how you look in the situation, and I didn't want to cut you off while you're going, because I was like, you were preaching, and I thought it was fire, and what she was saying was super inspirational, and I love it. And that's what I was gonna say. It's like, okay, well, one door closed, like two doors open. Like I got burned by this person, but like there's a reason. Like let's move on from it. What did it teach me? What did I learn from it? What am I gonna do next? And yeah, how are you gonna grow as
a person from that situation? And to me, it's like when you're single and finding happiness is finding what you love to do, finding who you love to be around. Who makes you happy? Like what people in your life are uplifting you, and who are you around that makes you feel bad about yourself? Are you around people that make you feel insecure, make you feel like you need to do this to be valued or that to be valued? Or like, are you around people that literally just make you feel loved for who you are? And I think that's so important.
Yeah. And that is definitely, I know a lot of our listeners and viewers on YouTube are in high school, and some aren't, but I think this can relate to a lot of people, but especially in high school. I just remember back then it was like trying to be, you wanted to be happy, but you wanted to be like not recognized, but what's the word? Like your friends to like you. Like you wanted to be liked. You were seeking that to be liked.
Validation.
And you would do anything like to get that. And now looking back on it, I was like, yo, if you're just yourself and be yourself, like that is what people value. That's what people
100%.
Like.
It's so funny because it's like a lot of times.
Like I wish I could go tell my high school self, like, yo, like just be you. Like people rock with you. Like you don't have to do what
you don't have to drink if you don't want to drink, because the popular kids drink.
Yeah, and I wasn't even.
No, but I know
talking like that.
I know what you mean is just to be valued by other people and trying to be someone you're not, rather than just if you are yourself, you're gonna find friends that are just like you and love you for you. And I've always thought that was the best thing someone could do is be themselves, because honestly, I've heard this from a lot of people and they're like, you've always just been you. And I feel like that's how I got to where I was, by just being me.
Yo, let me tell you, Katie B is very much herself and I love it. And she's goofy, she's silly, she's stubborn when she needs to be, which is awesome. And yeah, I just love it. Like who wants someone that's gonna be fake? Like who wants someone to like be a fake friend, you know, or a fake like person in your life that's going to tell you what you want to hear. Like or be jealous. Like when I asked Katie B, I was like, yo, do you like this outfit? Like she's not going to lie to me. She's like, this actually happened like the other day. Like we're out with friends and I don't even know what happened. Someone said I looked like a security guard and she looks at me. She's like, yeah, I honestly don't like those shorts. And I was like, okay,
like, well, that sounds like a little mean. Like
no, but okay, you said it. You went about it in the right way. But I was like, yeah, those are my favorite. I should have asked you because like I knew you would have been like honest with me, and I wouldn't have worn them.
But this is like a really random example. But like, if my mom or my friend were to ask me if they liked this outfit,
she does not,
or a different outfit, I will be very cautious on how I say it. But if they want my honest opinion, I'm going to give it to them because I want them to feel, I'm like, if they love it, I'm like, I think you look great. you know, and it's all how you say it. But like, if they're like, I don't know, like this one or that one, I'd be like, honestly, this one is way more flattering, or this one is just like, I like this
You're
one
just
better
really
on you.
looking out for them.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm
That's
like,
what a friend is for.
If they're
like,
asking for their opinion, I'm never trying to make my friend look bad. I want my friend to look hot. You know, I want my friend to be feeling glowing and feeling amazing about themselves. So it's like, why would I not tell them the truth? I feel like someone who's jealous and insecure would lie to them so they looked bad, you know? Like, I'm like, I want them, but it goes to how you, like, how you go about it. Like, I'm not going to put them down and be like, oh, ew, like,
no, yeah.
You know, I would never do that
in a perfect way. And I love it. And that brings me to the next thing. So we're talking about happiness, how to be happy when you're single, right?
Yep.
For me, in my opinion, that really stems from confidence.
Yeah.
And I know, like, everyone knows, like, oh, I should be confident, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, so-and-so says, if you're confident, like, you'll be happy. Like, yeah, that's easy. Like, anyone could say that.
How do you get to that?
A lot of people, they want to know, like, how do you gain confidence? How do you get confidence? And in my opinion,
love this question.
Yeah, I think this is a great question because, like, for me, it's like confidence is really, what is confidence? For me, it's like believing in something. Yeah. You know, and how are you going to believe in something if you're not keeping promises to yourself,
believing in yourself,
trusting yourself, or believing in yourself? And to me, that is what builds confidence, and it doesn't happen overnight. Like, for example, if you're telling yourself you're going to do something every day and you're not doing it, now you don't trust yourself. Yeah. Now you don't believe in yourself. How are you going to be confident?
If you can't believe in yourself, how can someone else believe in you? And my thing with confidence is confidence gets you so much further in life.
Literally, this is the key. If this is one thing you listen to in this podcast, I hope this is it, because I think this is literally going to help so many people. And this is the whole reason why we're doing the podcast. We talked about doing a podcast, and someone mentions like, oh, if you guys would just like talk on a podcast, like it would help me so much. It'd bring me entertainment, value, everything. And I'm like, boom, we're doing it. Right.
Like, I want to give you guys.
We decided we're doing it.
Yeah.
If this one thing you take from this podcast today, I think this is it.
And what that is confidence is so important. It'll get you so far in life. And I feel like over my lifetime, I have learned to be so confident. And there's a big difference between confidence and cockiness. And absolutely. But there is nothing wrong with being confident. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with looking in the mirror every single day and pointing out what you love about yourself, what you love about your personality. There is nothing wrong with that, because if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love other people? If your cup is not filled, or like if it's not filled to the top, how can you have room to fill other people up? Because you're working on yourself all day. If you're insecure, you're going to reflect the insecurity on other people.
And if you guys haven't noticed yet, when we're talking about how to love yourself single or how to be happy single, it's really tying into how to find the one. Like, and we're going to get there. But like, if you haven't realized yet, like this is literally like what she just said. Like, how are you going to love yourself? Yeah. Or if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? Like, there you go right there. That's tying into how to find the one. Because like, if you're not confident, now when you're in this relationship, you're going to be unhappy, or you're not going to find the person you're looking for because you're not your true self. You're not confident. But we'll get there.
Happiness. We talked about happiness. If you are confident, you are going to be so much happier. Imagine if you're literally looking in the mirror and just be like, I love my smile. I love my eyes. Or if you're looking in the mirror and be like, I wish I was skinnier. I wish I had green eyes. I wish I didn't have this color hair. I wish you're literally starting your day off terrible. Like it's so toxic. And if you're doing that, stop looking in the mirror until you can tell yourself something nice about yourself. You know?
No, I agree. And so let's bring it back to the confidence before we're going to get it out of hand, because we're getting excited. Yeah. But yeah, so how would you say you create like confidence? Okay,
for me, there's a couple different things I love to do.
That's one thing I find super attractive about you, and we've talked about it in other podcasts. It's like, even when I first met you, I was like, you were so confident, and I think that's hard to find, like truly confident people nowadays. Like,
and to me, it honestly makes me sad when people aren't confident, because you look at someone and they say they're not confident, then you look at them, you're like, they're so pretty, they're so cool, and they're so unique. Like,
from the outside looking in, you're like, how are you not confident?
They have so much to be confident about. And you know what's so funny is I think some people look and they're like, it's all about looks, it's all about that. I'm like, there are some like people that are so confident with their weight and they're overweight. But that's great. Like, that is literally like, it's like, and then there's the most skinniest, prettiest models out there who look beautiful, and they're the most insecure people. It has nothing to do with how you look or how big you are. Confidence is it's all a mindset. And I think that's so important. And how I think you gain confidence is figuring out what makes you feel good. What makes you feel good about yourself. For me, that's working out. That's how I gain confidence about my body, is working out. And I don't gain confidence by looking at other people's pictures and saying, I need to look like them to know I'm pretty. I go to the gym based off the feeling that I get. It makes me feel good about myself. And that's why I go. And that's why I love the gym. And that's even why we created the app and why we're so excited to share everything about it. And every time,
if you haven't heard the other podcast, we're creating a fitness app. It's going to be huge. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to inspire a lot of people to move and change a lot of people's lives. So that's what we're super excited about. It's going to be so sick.
It's going to give so many people confidence.
You just said something that makes you happy, feel good, confident. It's working out.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's bring it back to what I was saying. It's like, and now you're believing in yourself and you're trusting yourself because you're working out. You told yourself, that you feel better and you gain confidence when you work out. So imagine if you had like on your to-do list or whatever, working out, but you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Now you're not trusting yourself. Now you're losing confidence.
Yeah.
Now you're not getting that amazing feeling. It's like, it all ties in together like that. You have to promise yourself, keep promises to yourself. Like if I looked you in the eye right now and we pinky promise on something, like I'm keeping that promise.
Yeah.
You know, like
you gotta hold yourself accountable
keep a promise
to your word and what you're going to do. And for me, I know I also feel I feel like happy and confident when I have a list and I say I'm going to do it and I do everything on that list and I feel productive. When I am productive, I also feel more confident and happier. I don't know if that's just me personally.
Yeah, because you're doing the things you said you were going to do. You wrote it on a list, you checked it off, you did it, you told yourself you're going to do it, you did it. And that's it's building confidence right there.
Want to know I think the number one thing with confidence, hang around people who make you feel confident. Don't hang around people who are looking at themselves. I hate this. Ew, I wish my this was better. I wish my this looked different. Because you want to know why? I've literally hung around people before and they're like,
that's draining.
They're literally, and I'm not saying that you can't ever hang around people like this, but if you hang around girls and they're like, ew, I literally could not have like forehead wrinkles and oh my God, my crow's feet are and I was like, wait, what is that? Oh, that those lines are bad on your face. I was like, oh, I didn't even. And then I start looking in the mirror and I start looking at myself and I'm like, well, what's wrong with, oh my God, I didn't know that this wasn't pretty or I didn't know that this was bad. So it's like, if you hang around people who are always putting themselves down, you're going to start to learn that behavior and you're going to start putting yourself down.
No, you are who you hang around, and we'll get into that because I think that's a huge part of being happy. I think you actually already even touched on that.
And I also want to say that if you're single, be selfish with your time. Being selfish is always like looked at this like bad quality, but I think it's like the best quality.
I think it's the word that has been turned to bad, and it can be bad in scenarios. Being selfish, when you say that, it doesn't mean like don't help a friend.
Don't help a friend move in their house, or don't help a friend out if they need something. Like give up your time, but be selfish with who you surround yourself with. Be particular 100%. On who you are letting into your mind, and like be selfish with everything.
You have to be. If not, I mean, I can't even imagine if we weren't selfish to some degree, like we would never do anything.
I don't think we'd be the people we are today. And I don't think we'd be where we are if we weren't particularly selfish with our time.
I would never work out. I would never, we would never do different business ventures. We'd never get to hang out with this person because this person wants to hang out. I don't know. I think being selfish with your time is a good thing. And I think it's been turned into like a bad thing. But I mean, we help people whenever we need to or anything, it's not like that. It's not like we only care about ourselves. It's not that. No. We are selfish with our time in times that we need to be.
Yeah.
And I think
like literally the other day when someone asked us to go hang out and like, we were like, like we didn't hang out with them last time. Like really I felt bad. To. Like I was like, I don't want them to think we're blowing them off or anything, but
we knew we had a really busy week and it was a Sunday night, and every night we told ourselves, like every Sunday night we sit down and we plan out our week. Like that's our thing. That's what we do. We need to grocery shop, get food for the week.
It's like our recharge.
It's because if we don't do that, we're going to fail through the week.
Yeah. And then we're not going to feel happy or like accomplished.
Exactly.
And like
and we're losing confidence right there because we're not doing something that we both promised each other we're going to do every Sunday night.
Exactly.
So that's a perfect example of a time we were selfish with our time and needed to be.
So I have a question for you, Joshy B.
I love questions.
Were you happy when you were single?
Was I happy when I was single?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say at first no, but doing all these steps. I mean, like, that's why I think we're a perfect example for someone listening out there that maybe isn't happy while being single. And that makes me so sad to even think about, because like you should definitely be happy, enjoy every moment in life.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me personally, I was there. I was single and I wasn't happy. So if someone's listening out there, like, you're not alone. Like, I was there. And I think doing all these steps, that's why we've learned all these steps along the way, because we've done this.
Yeah.
You know?
And
So
I think
to get happy is literally like the stuff we're talking about is like what I was doing. Like, I wasn't happy. So I got a job that I liked, I enjoyed, I was passionate about. I worked at a fitness gym. I was super passionate about working out and inspiring people to work out. Like, that was huge for me. And seeing it, bringing that energy for somebody to work out and feel motivated, fueled me up, and that gave me energy. And then also making lists and checking things off my list and keeping promises to myself. I mean, just think about, everybody says like, oh, like New Year's resolution. Like, can you imagine, like, first of all,
if everyone
I
did
feel like
them?
New Year's resolutions, a lot of people fail on them, which is sad. First of all, imagine if everyone did them. That'd be amazing.
It'd be awesome.
But secondly, imagine if you just started it tomorrow. Like,
Or
why?
today.
Like, or today, even better. Like, what is it? It's October. Forget January. How could you even wait till January?
Have you ever heard of
go today?
Have you ever heard of the tomorrow diet? It's like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah, because everyone just says tomorrow. And that's why I just, one of our friends, they have a company, and I just bought the hoodie. It says, yesterday you said tomorrow.
You know
because no, like,
do it right now.
It's
like
today. Let's do it.
Make that change now.
I don't even know where I was going with this.
Well, I know something I want to say is that you literally took yourself from being sad, depressed, and heartbroken over your ex relationship. Now you're new single, you're sad, and then you're kind of like going through a phase in your life where you're trying to figure everything out, to becoming the person that you are before you met me and being happy. And I honestly did the same thing, because I was single for 3 years before I met Joshy B.
Yep.
And I literally had so
single
much
and ready
time,
to mingle, though.
so
Don't
much
get it
time
wrong.
to
Don't get
wait.
it wrong.
And that is a hard waiting period, but I think waiting is so important, because if you take that time and you figure out what you like, your values and everything like that, is that you won't settle. You'll end up not settling for someone who's going to treat you wrong, or you'll end up knowing who you want to spend the rest of your life with. And I think that's why I found Josh, is because I didn't date the first guy that came across or showed me attention. I didn't date anyone. I literally waited for someone that aligned with what I wanted. And there was times, don't get me wrong, oh my gosh, I literally was like, okay, well, this is it. I'm literally going to either have to end up with a good looking person who's a cheater, or someone that I don't really find attractive, but maybe they'll treat me right. I literally was stuck in that phase. I'm like, and I didn't. I was just thinking that. I was like, this sucks. Like, I'm never going to find someone. I literally am going to be single forever. And because I was in my same routine, like I would go to church, I would hang out with my friends. I didn't go out to parties or anything, but like I'd hang out with my friends. And I was like, it's just never going to cross my way. Yeah. But then I took the opportunity, and someone invited me to go to a boxing gym. And because I said yes to things.
But you did all your core values,
yes,
and you said yes to things, and you prayed about it, and you put yourself out there.
But if I wasn't happy before I met you, things would have been different.
I think things would have been very
insecurities would have came into our relationship.
100%.
Problems would have came into our relationship. Because I was happy before I met you, and because you were happy, I genuinely believe that that's why we work so well together.
And I do want to clarify, like, too, it's like, even like back then, it's like, oh, you brought up like the past relationships. Like, I think people in high school and stuff, like, there's so many things going on in your life. Like, I think people have a lot of ups and downs. Like, it's okay to not be happy for a day. You don't have to be
happy. It's like, I'm talking about like a season of happiness.
But yeah, I know for me personally, like, there was definitely a season where I was like, felt unhappy, and like, these are the things that I did to change it. Yeah. And it changed who I am. It changed who I was, and changed for the better. So I think it's amazing. And I think the same thing. If I were to have met you in a state where I wasn't like my truest happiness, I don't think it would have worked out, because I would have been insecure about things. We probably would have argued about dumb things. Yeah. I don't even know. I just don't think it would have worked out. Maybe I wouldn't even pursued it, because maybe I wouldn't have been confident, because I wouldn't have been confident with myself, and I wouldn't even have approached you to go on a date, maybe.
True.
But at that point, I was so, oh my gosh, I was so confident.
You were so confident.
I was like, bro, I'm taking that girl on a date tomorrow.
Yeah. And that's honestly what confidence for me was a big attraction. And at first I was like, oh, hopefully he's not cocky, because some guys can just be cocky and then you're like, oh, they're confident, but they're kind of cocky. And so like,
there's a fine line.
It's how they treat you and how they treat people. Totally. And you ever like, sometimes like you'll look at people and you'll just be like, okay, they love themselves too much. Like it's not as far as like they love themselves, because I think people should. It's like they think that they're better than everyone. Now that's cocky. That's the difference.
I agree.
Is like thinking you're above someone. That's where it's like that breaches the confidence versus cocky, because it's like you should love yourself. And like the whole he loves himself too much. It's like he loves himself more than he loves anyone.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And that's why I feel like it's really important. Okay, but my question for you is wait, I had it written down. I literally just forgot.
I was gonna say, if you see it,
no.
you see us peeping our phones, we want to make sure we stay on topic the best for you guys. And
it's a little harder
like
this
during
podcast.
A podcast like an hour long, like we just sometimes just start spitting stuff. We just start talking.
The thing is like a lot of times we'll like flow more, but like since we already filmed this, I can't remember what I said and what I didn't say. And our podcast was really good, so I want to make sure we touch on everything.
Yeah,
but my question for you, is did you have any regrets of things you did while you were single? And is there any advice you would give someone like a younger male or a younger woman, any advice on things that you did or things that you learned that you wouldn't have done that play into your future now?
Okay, that's a good question. I always say this. I don't live with regrets. I think everything that happened when I was single made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. But I think going back, I think personally, I would have done everything we've talked about in this podcast today way sooner. Like, why? It's sad to me to think about that I even wasted one day being sad or unhappy. Yeah. When like life is a gift and it's finite. Like you never know when life can end. Yeah. And obviously we're still here. But yeah, like I think it's sad to think that maybe there was a day or two or a week or a month that I was sad. So I would just, I would want to implement everything we've said in this podcast, like ASAP Rocky. That would be the first thing I would do. And then the second thing I would do would be probably just put myself out there more, I mean, it took me a while, but once I got confident and I started doing my thing, then I started putting myself out there more and opportunities came more and I met new people and enjoyed life and had fun. It's hard to think about regrets. I don't like the word regrets, but is there something I would do differently? Like, sure. I mean,
my question kind of 100%. Too also is like, so we'll talk about your past. Actually, we'll talk about it. And maybe in the future we'll talk about it. But so like of people you've hooked up with or like that little phase in your life, is there anything like you would tell someone who hasn't gone through that phase? Like, would you tell them to skip it? Would you tell them to be cautious? What would you tell them?
I would just tell someone to, be very smart about how you go about things and just really think about like the future people you may be affecting or hurting by doing things like that, because everything you do in your past does stay with you. And
you are forgiven but like I know there's a lot of couples out there that like a lot of their issues come from
and I want
past hookups or past things.
I'm so lucky. Like you are such an amazing girl and you're so confident and thanks, you babe. Can see the fact that everything that happened before you was before I met you. I didn't even know you existed. And yeah, it was different. Like when I met you, I told you from the beginning, like you knew what had happened. I told you also that I was like, something's different about you. I want to figure it out. I wasn't lying to you. I wasn't saying that just to hook up with you or any of that, that's honestly, I was being 100% honest with you. And I mean, here we are married and everything. So and obviously I was telling the truth, but.
And I say that just because I don't want people. And I mean, anyone can do what they want, but I just know that sometimes when you go out and you sleep around or you do different things with people I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just saying that sometimes in certain relationships that will carry on and it never is for your benefit. It'll never help you in your next relationship. So just sometimes think about that and think about the future person that you could be hurting. And I know that's kind of hard to do, but I just think it's like, it's only going to help you in the long run. And also, what you said, I want to talk about this because I think we talked about this in the podcast that got deleted, was what attracted, like, why me? Like, why did you choose me?
Well, yeah, I mean, is this the transition to how to find the one? Like, are we getting into that? Because, like we said, I think everything correlated to what we talked about. But like you said earlier, I mean, we talked about core values, and I think a core value for me that's super big is respect and how people treat other people. And I just remember, first of all, when I met you, like I said, I thought something was different. I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to get to know you a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like instantly, like I remember going back, like even our first, I think our not our first, our like second date was with your parents. And like even the way you treated your parents, the relationship you had with your parents was amazing. The way you treated your friends, your family, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, like just the way you treated everybody was amazing. Your sisters, and it was so cool to see. And that's something I really fell in love with about you is the way you were treating them. Like you were so nice, passionate, and loving towards them. Like if they want something, you do anything for them.
Yeah.
You do anything for them. You're so amazing with the way you talk to them. I love it.
Oh, thanks, babe. Okay, wait. I just really quick, like this wasn't when we had first started dating, but it was in the beginning. And this made me like really fall in love with Josh. Was I think you and your mom were getting in a fight about something really stupid. I think your mom was just upset and like having like a bad day. And like she was, in my opinion, like you didn't really do anything wrong, but it was very obvious she was upset. And you just walked up to her and you hugged her and you're like, Mom, I love you. You just gave her a hug and she just started crying. She's like, I'm sorry, Josh.
That's how you
like,
stop an argument right there.
Instantly stopped. And I was like, that was so sweet. I was like, he is such a good guy. Like that was so pure, so sweet. I'm like, because like as a girl, and if I was fighting with my mom, I'd be like, Mom, I would keep going, as to where I was like, that was the most mature, like sweet thing to do. Like she was not being as like amazing to you. And you literally just knew that all she needed was love. And you did that. And I was like, that was so sweet. And I was like, and you were so right. That's what your mom.
Love goes a long way. It goes a long way, you know?
And that's what I just thought that was so cool. And that's what I thought, like there were so many things with when I met Josh of why I knew, but at first I didn't know. But really quick, I want to say one thing of another thing that you always said of why you were like, okay, I really wanted to figure you out was because I wasn't like the other girls who would hook up with you right away.
Yeah, 100%. And like, just to be clear, and we can do a whole podcast on it. I don't care on my past. We can do whatever. It's not like I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. It's just, I think sometimes it could come off like, I don't want to ever come off as, I don't know what the right word is, like rude to you. Like I think maybe I want to have respect for you, and like obviously you're super open to talk about it.
I like would ask Josh
I don't want to ever
questions.
come off like I'm trying to brag about it. It's not.
No.
It's to me, it's not something to brag about. It's just like what happened, and like I'm not embarrassed of my past past or anything that happened in my life.
I'm not embarrassed of your past because it's what made you who you are, and but your past plays into your future. And like I've done things in my past that I'm not proud of, but like I don't regret because it led me to where I'm at, and it taught me a lesson that now I feel like I went through it so I could help teach other people not to go through it. If I could help other people, then it was all worth it,
What was your question again though? I forgot.
About how to know I was the one?
No. Oh, about the past. So yeah, it's not like I was ever like seeking that out with girls or anything. It just like kind of happened, I wasn't like the guy that's like telling a girl like, "Ooh, I love you," just to like get in their pants. Like I think that's corny. That's stupid. I don't know why people do that.
Yeah.
But there are people that do that. But that wasn't me, It was just like a mutual thing. It was never like hey, we're gonna date, or it was never, I would like to say I was never leading people on.
Yeah. And for me,
and when I met you, right away I knew something was different, and I told you that. But yeah, you definitely played a little hard to get, and you weren't willing, you didn't hook up with me right away. Like
you make them wait.
Yeah, you made me wait, and I appreciated that. And
well, because I loved
the chase. Like as a guy, like I loved the chase, and I loved it, and I was like, wow, this girl is like different. I don't know what it is, like, but I'm like, wow, you had so much confidence in yourself to literally like heat of the moment, like
no.
You're like, hey, we're gonna wait. And I respected that, and I love that about you.
I think a big reason why I think guys like that too, or even girls like that, is because it's like, and we say chase, that doesn't mean if someone's like literally blowing you off, but if like, it's almost like if I were to just hook up with Josh right away, it doesn't separate me from anyone else, because then I don't know. I just feel like he would think in his head, be like, well, if she was that easy for me or that ready for me, would she be ready for other people?
That would be the conversation that would go on in my head with myself. It'd be like, okay, like if she slept with me or hooked up with me people the first day, I'm like, okay, well, that it wasn't special. I'm not special.
Yeah.
I'm not special anymore. You know, that's how I would think. I don't know, but that's a
whole
topic. We'll get into it on a different podcast.
Okay, but let's go back to the day we met.
Okay. Day we met. Yep.
Was it love at first sight? Do you believe in love at first sight?
I don't know. As corny as love at first sight even sounds, it's just like, I want to say, like, here we are now married. Like, I want to say absolutely.
Yeah.
But looking back on the day, like, I just think there's no way.
No, there is no way.
Love at first sight sounds crazy.
Want to know what I think it is? I think it's infatuation at first sight.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like, trust me, I was damn, that girl is hot.
I mean, I did say I was in love with you to my parents when I met you. Literally went home, laid on the floor.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm in love, and I don't care who knows. I was just being really like goofy silly because I was like geeked out.
I find that so funny because like I can't even process in my brain like running home, laying on my parents' living room floor and saying that. Like they would probably think I was like crazy.
But you could see me doing it with my parents
totally see
based off like our relationship. Like I literally was like, I just met the hottest guy in the world. But the thing is like I wasn't in love with Josh. He could have been a total F-boy. Like you could have been such a player and like I wasn't in love with you, but oh my gosh, was I in love with how you looked and how that day went? And like, was I infatuated 100%?
The butterflies were going.
Oh yeah. But now looking back, I could be like, oh, it was love at first sight because I knew something was different and we ended up working out. So like, yeah, you could say it, but for me, I don't think it's love at first sight. I mean, when I picked up our dog Topper, that was definitely love at first sight.
Yeah,
it's never. I mean, come on,
that was way different.
I knew, and I just knew.
As we sat there and decided if we wanted the boy or the girl.
I knew I wanted the boy.
Actually, you did know.
I did know.
Yeah, so maybe it was love at first sight for you. I don't know. Okay, so you don't believe in love at first sight either, then?
No, but I do know you can like, I don't know, like love the appearance, love who. I don't know. I don't think you can fall in love in a day.
Can you fall in love with anyone? Do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Not anyone. I think that there's another person that like I could fall in love with, like who they are, because I think there's a lot of great people.
There's a lot of stuff to love about someone, you know?
Like I genuinely from the bottom of my heart believe that like God made us for each other because I prayed about you and here you are. And so specifically
6 billion people on the planet.
Yeah, and I genuinely believe that you are
in the same state.
I believe in soulmates. I believe you're my soulmate. Now, do I believe that?
That's crazy.
Do I believe I could fall in love with someone else if you weren't here? Like, totally. I 100% believe that. Like, and that's no disrespect to you or anything. I just think that think about it. Like, I love some of my friends. You did tell your
ex-boyfriend you loved him, so.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of more so like,
I'm just kidding.
I love you too. But like, I did think I was in love with him, but that's different. That's way different. Like, genuine love, I think you can, because I think it's like not just looks. I think it's how their personality and how they treat you. And I know that there's other people out there that are so sweet, but I'm like, you to me are like it, you know, like it just goes above and beyond that. I genuinely feel like you're my soulmate.
I love that. It's so crazy to think about. We grew up 20 minutes away from each other.
I know.
And like 6 billion people on the planet.
But we're
soulmates.
I never would have crossed your path. Like, it's so random, like how it all happened. Random, and it was just like, I didn't go to a boxing gym normally. You never really came out to the small town that was near my house. Like,
never.
I never, like, I don't know. It was just so random and so out of the blue that I genuinely feel like it was just like a God thing.
No, I love that. So like, if you could touch on like how to find the one, like what's one thing you would give? Like, what's that advice?
Well, I think how to find the one, it all plays on to being the best version of yourself when you're single. And then I think it plays into when you're dating and who you choose to date, who you choose to go on dates with. And obviously, like when you go on a date, you don't know someone always yet, and you try and figure out who they are. But I think first dates are really important. And I think our first date was awesome because you did something that you loved to do on the first date. And you were like, I'm going to see if this girl is about what I'd like to do.
I put you to the test day one. I was like, okay, we're going to a beach. It's going to be hot. Okay. And my windows were down in the car. We're going to see if she gets mad if her hair gets a little blown around.
Yeah.
I bumped the music I like. You liked it. We vibed together. I got you in the sand. You were comfortable getting in the sand.
Yep.
We played sports. I love sports. I love competition. You were competitive with it. It's just like everything was so perfect. And that's why I took you on that date, is because that's my idea of a fun date.
Yeah.
Like to me, like the fancy wine and dine dinners, that's not for me. That's for somebody, I'm
But
sure.
if that's, yeah, like let's say
But
that's your
if
thing, like you would want to take
right.
someone and see if that was their thing too. Or like, I also think it's really important to talk about like your, not like future right away, but like get to know a little bit about them, like their story, their past, like things have, we literally talked about our past relationships on our first date. Like I was like, oh, like, have you had a girlfriend before? Like, cause I wanted to know, like, I was like, I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. I'm like, have you ever dated anyone? Have you had a past? Like, why? Cause I'm like, well, what if he was like, yeah, I cheated on my ex-girlfriend. Like that would kind of scare me, or like, or, you know, certain things like,
which typically like people say that's a big no-no, and I agree, but like it's all depends on how you do it. It's not like, oh, like my ex used to do that. Like that's not that's the conversation.
We weren't talking like, oh yeah, my ex used to do that, or my ex.
It's like, oh yeah, like I had a past relationship. We dated for like 3 years. Like
it's not like you talk about them. Like, you just say like, oh yeah, it didn't end well. Just be like, you know, it's just like, I want to know what happened in his life, what he's about.
Think about like a job interview. When you interview someone for a job, it's like, okay, like, oh, you don't work at your last job anymore? How come? Did you get fired?
Yeah.
Or did you quit because something happened that you didn't like? And do those core values that you didn't like line up with mine? Like,
and
same thing.
Speaking of core values, I think that's important. I don't know necessarily first date, because I think you can kind of just
first date. Nah, you're just trying to get to know each other.
But when you're trying to figure out the one, that's when core values come into play. Because have you ever heard of couples where it's like they literally break up, or they don't like each other anymore because they're like, oh, he doesn't want kids, but I've always wanted kids. And I was like, how has that conversation never come up? Like that would come up early on. That would come up early on for me, because it's like, if there's something that I am very passionate about in my life and I want, and you don't want that, that would be really hard. And it's like, yeah, we could get married and still love each other, but that would cause a lot of heartbreak for me, and you know, like vice versa. And I think that would create some like tiff or like confusion, you know?
Like even for example, like I know we've talked about this topic like internally like many times, but it's like when we started dating, I was a professional MMA fighter, right? Yeah. I got punched in the face, kicked, did all that, like adrenaline junkie. Like you knew that. Yeah. I had a motorcycle at the time. It's like nothing has changed, and you also haven't changed as well. Like it's like I go skydiving. Like of course you worry about me and stuff. Yeah. But it's not like you're like, oh, you can't do that.
You can't do that, or like you can't do this, because it's like, I think you just got to know what that person's about and what they love to do and what makes them happy. And that's a big reason why I feel like a lot of times people, they get a little unhappy in their marriages or relationships, is because they lose their singleness of what made them happy and what filled their cup. And it's like they can't do the things that they love because the other person doesn't want them to, or, you know,
like if you really sat me down today and was like, I don't ever want you to skydive again, like just don't do it. Like I would say, yeah, but like I would resent you for that. Well, and that's like the thing, also like, it would like, I would find something else to fill my cup, because that's the type of person I am. But like for some people, like maybe they don't. And then it's like, now you're sad. Now you're resenting your partner and stuff. And I've literally, I can call it out. Like I've seen relationships, they've been dating for years, and I'm just like, I don't even know. Like you guys have absolutely nothing in common. And I don't think you have to have everything in common with your person, but it's like literally direct opposites. Like you even touched on the kids thing. Like I was like, this person wants to have kids like by like next year. And like you don't even want to get married or like have a relationship that serious, which is fine. But I'm like, that's not going to work. Yeah. Like something's not right there, you know, like something's going to be off. Like there's going to be arguments there, or there's other things too. Like I'm trying to think of a situation off the top of my head, but I can't.
Well, that's why I was talking about earlier, when you're single, is figuring out what like your beliefs are, your core values, because that plays into who you're dating. Like, and that's when I first met Josh, I was like, oh, this guy's like really great. Seems awesome. But like, as we started dating and getting into more like different topics or things that would go on, I fell more and more in love with him, because I felt like our core values starting aligning even more. And I just fell more in love with him, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this, like with the fight that happened with his mom, I was like, okay, so that's how he's going to treat me in a fight. Like, or like if he was like, F you mom, and like totally disrespected her, I'm like, dang, like that could happen to me, or like, you know, things like that, or like, I don't know, just how you treat your friends, how you're always there for your friends. Or if you're like, oh, I don't really care, if you're selfish to your friends or like rude to your friends, it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of that plays into your relationship, and it's all situational.
No, I agree. And something that I noticed about you too is like when we first started dating is how like helpful you were. Like something that's so cool about you. And like I feel like a lot of people don't see this on YouTube or see the side of you, but like you literally want the people you truly care about, like you want them to be great. Like so bad. Like I remember like there was a best friend and you like whatever question they had, like you were there, you were helping them, like you were teaching them how to do things. And I'm like, because I remember earlier we are talking about being selfish with our time. I'm like, this is kind of the exact opposite, and it's something I love about you. And I'm like, when you really care about someone, you add value to their life. You do whatever you can for them to the best of your ability, and I love that. Like I think that's a huge core value that you have that I love, because no one ever wants to be with someone that like wants to bring you down or doesn't want you to be like your best version of yourself. Like,
and that's
what I saw in you. I was like, damn, like, look at her. Like even with myself a little bit, I'm like, at the time, like I did well. I made good money. I was working a lot though. And you're like, you saw potential and you're like, yo, I think you're good on YouTube. Like, I think you could do it. Like, we talked about it. We started a YouTube channel. You literally sat down. You taught me how to edit. We weren't making money. You weren't making money from that. And at the time, like we had no idea where that was going to go. And I've seen you do that for so many people, sit on hour conversations to help them, do it in person. And not even with YouTube, just anything, like
I think
playing lacrosse with your cousin in the backyard because you know he loves it, or helping your niece like do a craft or anything, or your sister, like you're trying to help her start a business because she has so many kids and she works all the time and she's hustling, and you were trying to help her do that. Like I just love that about you. I think it's so cool.
Thanks, babe. I think what I really like is just like, I see sometimes people's potential and I like to help them see what they can do. But sometimes it does get burnt a little, but I think some things are better left to do for people and it not be all over social media, because even with like past friendships or things that have been said, it's like some people just don't see things on social media, I guess, that we do. And sometimes I'll read comments and it kind of hurts my feelings because I'm like, it's not even true. But like, I feel like sometimes the truth comes out and you don't always have to like defend yourself or like, you know.
I honestly, I mean, when it comes to comments like those, like I don't care.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to actually do a whole podcast reading hate comments.
I do too. I think it'd be so fun because there's been some comments.
There's not a lot though. I mean, especially on, oh my God, on the podcast.
Not on the podcast. I've only seen like one or two, and some of them don't even make sense. But like, honestly, I've only seen a couple, and honestly, they're not even on our videos, or they're on like a fan edit or something.
Yeah.
And there is some, but like, honestly, I don't really care, because if there wasn't haters, then there's not going to be supporters. And I don't agree. I don't think everyone should agree with what I say, you know? And if everyone loved me, I wouldn't like that, because I'm not God, you know? I don't deserve everyone to love me.
No, I know.
But I love myself, and I have a husband who loves me, and I have God who loves me. And that's all I think anyone needs is God and their self-love.
Yeah, and that kind of ties us into like the whole topic is how to find the one. That's what so many people were asking. And I hope like this podcast has helped someone out there, even if it helps one person. Like it was worth our time sitting down here for an hour, just chit-chatting, getting to stare at my wife the whole time. I love it. So we appreciate you guys for listening and sharing with friends, because we know there's people out there that could use this, and this could motivate somebody, and you guys sharing it helps us and gives us the opportunity to keep doing this. So I really appreciate that.
We forgot our number one tip on how to find the one.
Oh yeah.
Stop looking for the one.
Oh my gosh, did we not say that?
Stop looking for the one. Stop literally going on like a million dates, just trying to like, stop obsessing over the idea. Once you let go of finding the one, I mean, put yourself out there, take chances, go on dates, but like, don't obsess over finding the one right now. Don't be like, I need to get married by I'm 25. I need to get married by this age. I need to do this by this age.
Yeah. Stop setting like limits on that, you know, because you never know when it could happen.
Yeah.
And
I think when you stop looking, you find it.
Yeah. And to stop looking doesn't mean like, oh, don't go on dates and like the right person will come. That just means like, stop seeking, like stop forcing it. Like I have to have a boyfriend and then we got to get married by age 25. It's like, that's a lot of pressure. Oh my gosh.
Take the pressure on yourself.
Imagine that. Like you, are probably like in school, working a full-time job. Like,
just be happy with where you're at.
geez, yeah. Like, don't put the pressure on having to get married. I mean, that's a huge thing that you wouldn't want to rush anyways. I mean, marriage is not something to rush into.
No.
It's a lifelong commitment, and you have to find the one. That's why we're trying to help you and give you tips on how to find the one. So stop looking.
Another thing I think is, I definitely think you should ask someone, like if you're talking about like right before finding the one, like marriage, like you've been dating for a little bit, I think you should ask someone, and we ask each other this all the time, like, what's your future dream? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want in a year? What do you want in 5 years?
Yeah, because you got to make sure like that future aligns too.
Yeah.
Like if you ask someone, it's like, yo, what's your future? Like, what's your main dream? Like in 15, 20 years, whatever. And they're like, I want to be a billionaire and own a yacht and this and that. And then like your main dream is to live like in the country, super secluded and have like 10 kids. That doesn't line up, because to succeed, his dream is like going to be a lot of work, and you want to live secluded and
the
have
thing
10
is,
kids. That's also a lot of work on a different end. So it's just not going to line up.
Yeah. And marriage is compromise, but it's not that much. I mean, we compromise. Like I'll do things that
of course.
I'm not crazy about. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want him to be happy, and I also want me to be happy. So it's like, you really do want to align. And I'm not saying you have to be just like your person, and you have dreams that I don't really care to fulfill, but I care to help you fulfill them, you know? And I think I have dreams that like you don't care about.
Like
as
getting
much.
getting a supercar was a
Yeah, it was
not I don't know.
It was a goal for you.
I would say a dream, a goal,
a
whatever
dream,
you
a
want to
goal.
call it. Like ever since I was a little kid and saw like a first cool car, I
Who
was like,
doesn't?
I want one. Like what little boy doesn't? But
Even,
like
like-
that was something you did not give a shit
Oh,
about.
I did not care. But you know
She's
what?
like, if you really want to do it. I don't care.
I was
And I'm
all
like,
for it. I was like, you know what? You work so hard and we work hard. And I was like, I'll enjoy it too. And
yeah, of course.
And I was like, let's do it. Like, why not? We can afford it. We've worked so hard. We can, like, I just think that to me is not, but you know what I love about you so much is like people literally, because you got that car, there was comments like, you've changed. We even had a friend at the time literally say that you changed because you got the car. It's all perspective. I'm like, and what I love about you so much is
Most
that
people don't even know we own that.
you
because
don't
we
even like
use it.
sometimes we literally will not drive the McLaren because Josh will be like, I'll feel like a douchebag, like rolling up the McLaren going to this event like this. And it's like,
I don't want to be that
like
guy.
we don't like the car to be looked at a certain
I
way or
basically
to be a
learned
certain way.
Yeah, I've learned, and I knew this about myself.
But I love that about you.
Because I'm not like an all eyes on me type of guy, but I love adrenaline. I like to go fast, and supercars are fast, and they're aggressive looking. I love sports, like I love the aggressiveness. Like that's what I love about it, and I love driving that car. Hate the attention it brings.
Yeah,
I don't like sitting at a red light and everyone's staring at me. I feel hella uncomfortable.
Well, we literally
so uncomfortable. I don't know why. Like, and I'm not. And this sounds so like stupid to be saying. Like, I'm not. I love the car. I'm super grateful for everything we've done with it and all of that, and being able to afford it. But I'm just saying, like, I didn't get the car for attention. Like, for someone, and people comment all the time on life. They're gonna comment like, oh, you've changed, or oh, like you guys bought a house together, you've changed. Like you hit 3 million subscribers, you've changed. Like you started a podcast, you changed. I'm sure people are gonna say we changed. Like I don't care. Like,
but
the
I
comments don't get to
genuinely,
me, but
I love that so much about you though, is that you don't even value, like you are grateful and you appreciate and you like work hard for something, but it's like you don't value that car over someone. Like it's like your core values will never change. But you don't think you're better than someone who drives a piece of crap car next to you. Like you're not going to treat them any different. And that's what I love about you so much.
I
and like
drove a piece of crap car.
Exactly.
Before.
You know,
I know what it's like.
But I know some people get a car like that, or they get certain things and they start acting a certain way. And that's just what I love so much about you is like, you don't do that.
Yeah, that's just not me.
It's not you.
But yeah, that's why I think long-term goals definitely play a big part in finding the one, because that's what's going to really tell you like what their passion, what their goals are, what their future looks like, and if they're even taking steps to get to that future. And that. So that's where you guys can really sit down, talk about that. And honestly, it's fun to do. Like that's kind of like a thing like I enjoy doing like at dinner or something. We did it the other night. It's like I love, like, be a dreamer. I feel like a lot of people in this life aren't dreamers. Like, why is it bad to say, if that's something you love, like you want 10 supercars, Friggin' dream.
Yeah.
Dream.
And
Maybe you fall a little short, you get one.
Set goals for yourself.
Goals. Like, be a dreamer. Like, I wanna have a beach house someday with my wife in a cottage on a lake. I think that would be awesome. I'm a dreamer. Fun. I'm gonna dream the craziest, biggest vision.
I think
if I fall a little short, bet.
Some people they just like don't have these big dreams for themselves, and they want these things, but they just don't like really. I don't know. They don't do the steps to do them, or they don't dream big enough. And they're unhappy because of where they're at. They hate their job. They don't dream of getting out of their job. They don't dream of the next step, you know? And I think that's so important, is to write down your big goals, to write down your big dreams. And if you're dating, do that with that person. We did that from the jump. As soon as we started YouTube, we wrote monthly goals, and we had this big vision board with our goals, and it literally set us up.
Grind together, shine together.
Exactly.
The glow up was real. That's something super cool too. I think when you guys glow up together, or grow as people. Like, I think that's so cool. And that's why finding the one is so important, because I'm just glad to do life with you and be happy. I wake up happy every morning. You know, I go to bed happy every night. It's so cool. When you find your person, like, you're going to know. And it's so cool. That's why we wanted to do this topic. You guys were asking for it. We want to share what worked for us. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but
and to
get
us,
out there, start loving yourself.
Start loving yourself, and start for us, our happiness like genuinely comes from our relationship with our friends, our relationship with each other, our relationship with God, our dog, like literally. And like, really, you guys,
it's the little things, honestly.
Our dreams, like reaching our dreams, our happiness, like, and that's what I love about Josh, is like, our happiness and your core value really aligns with mine. It doesn't come from the money or the success from what we do. It comes with the passion of what we do.
You know, I think we need to do a whole topic on this, just because, like, about money, because, like, I want to get into it.
Like how much money we make or something.
I don't know. I want to get into it, but it's like, I don't care about the money. Like, because we start these new businesses, and I think some haters, and that's why we're gonna read hate comments. There's so many podcasts we can talk about, but it's like, they're like, oh, you just care about money, blah blah blah. It's like, that's really like so far from the truth. It hurts. Like, I mean, it's so far from the truth. Like, I don't even know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's like,
you want to get into it so bad.
Like, holding back. I'm trying not to.
I do.
Okay, we'll do a whole topic on it.
Money is a tool. It's not happiness. And I will fight someone day over day that it is not happiness. It could bring temporary happiness, but it will not.
I've actually argued, with friends before. About
we've gone into it. I'm like, it's not.
Well, how could you say that you have money? It's like, but I've also been happy when I didn't have money.
All the money in the world, and I don't have Josh, I'm not happy. Yeah. Or I don't have God, I'm not happy.
Well, okay, we'll get into it. But we're starting to get off topic. Basically, love yourself. Do things that make you happy. Keep your promises to yourself, and you gain that confidence. And stop
learning to be confident.
Searching for the one, and the one will come. That doesn't mean don't get out there and date. You know, put yourself out there. Start saying yes to things. Enjoy life.
Start looking in the mirror and telling yourself 5 things you love about yourself every single day. Write down 5 things.
Be grateful.
Be grateful for where you're at. You can wake up and be like, ew, I hate my eyes. I hate this. Or you can look in the mirror, tell yourself things you love about yourself.
Guess what?
And tell yourself
it's not changing.
3 things you're grateful for about your life. Oh my gosh, I have air in my lungs. What a gift. What a gift.
You ever just...
I can see.
Do you ever see someone... wow, it's so nice to breathe.
You're like, this is so amazing.
That was amazing.
Do you ever see someone that like has a disability, and then you're like, I am so ungrateful. Like, why do I not think about that every single day? Or do you ever, like, when you hurt your ankles, when you were in a wheelchair, did you not think every day
until you break a bone, and you're like, holy shit,
I took for granted.
I never knew how much I used my pinky
just to be healthy,
and it's just a broken pinky. Or you broke both your ankles, like myself. I never knew how much I enjoyed getting up and putting my dish in the fucking dishwasher.
Yeah, you're like,
I cannot do it.
Yeah.
It's like the stupidest
There's just so much to be grateful for.
But anyways, that wraps up today's episode. And we want to say we are super grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for all the love. Like I said, number 1 podcast in all of those places we were just reading off, and about to be the number 1 podcast, couple podcasts on the planet, baby. This is your couple tea, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye, guys.
See ya.